Hey there, fellow prospectors. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Icarus. Episode 3, Tier 2 Technology, Entering the Iron Age. Alright, let's go ahead and eat my XP boosting meat. I'm going to simply throw out some of the sticks I have, because I don't need this many sticks. I'll just leave them on the ground. It's fine. If they despawn, so be it. Don't care. And we're going to keep grinding to level 10. Because level 10 will open up a lot for us. Ah, he saw me. Come here, Shammy. Ah, I missed it. So many herbivores around me. Right in the bottom. Oh, actually, that wasn't your bottom. Yes, the first seeds I got was coffee. That was not an accident. Anyone that knows me knows if I'm gonna be farming something, it best be coffee. Any new game, you know I'm not gonna be doing fishing, and if there's coffee, I'm gonna be chugging it by the gallon. That's just how it is. No, whatever. I'm not gonna... Oh! Wolves! Yes, I will bother with wolves. Where are you, wolfies? So, there are different biomes in the game, and, oh, stringy meat, good. Of various difficulties. So if I head farther, actually, let me check. Icarus biome map. I want to find stronger enemies, and I'm not sure which way to travel, so I'm gonna look it up real quick. Because online there is I've found before a biome map for it, but apparently I can't find that map again. That's sad. Okay, well, whatever. I know that traveling farther from my current spot is going to be harder. Generally speaking, the transition zones between... so I'm going to head to, like, L10. The transition zones between... the forest to the Arctic, or the forest to the desert, or the desert to the Arctic, so on and so forth. The transition zones between biomes tend to harbor more dangerous prey. It's sort of a game design of like, hey, it gets hard ahead. Are you sure? So we're gonna find like more apex predators in those transition zones, and therefore have an easier time leveling up. Now, with that said, I am low on water, so I'll rely on berry hydration and watermelon hydration if I can find watermelons. Hey, you left your baby over there. And here is another cave that I organically found. Well, we know there's going to be worms in it, so... basically... Oh! Exotics! Hey, don't do that. So that purple rock there, this is a tier 1 cave, you can tell by its size. That purple rock is exotics. That is the thing that we are essentially come down here for. It's the whole reason we got sent down. The story of Icarus is that they were terraforming this planet, and they done screwed it up good. And the process of screwing it up, it got screwed up, I think, if I'm not mistaken, because of the... presence of exotic elements, which screwed up the terraforming process. I could be wrong about the finer details, because, you know, I don't play these games for the story. But, so there are exotics on the planet, and your character is essentially the first wave of prospectors on this planet, and you're tasked with exploiting those and bringing them back to HQ. Was it floating? Sometimes they float. But, like, not by game design. Just how it rendered. I'm a little low on bone arrows. Just keep conserving and crafting them. And we're heading to the oh, watermelon. Perfect, because I was low on water. We're heading towards the transition zone to the north here to try to find more dangerous enemies so that I can level up a little bit faster. I may also want to stop at an oxide rock and harvest some oxide. You can sometimes find oxide loose on the ground, like this. But mining an oxide rock so I can keep my oxide up would be good. Really? You stopped running there? Okay. Nope. Oh, you made it out. I'll leave you alone now. Oh, there he is again. Oh my god. Bullet sponge! Ah, level 9! 1 to go. And more gamey meat. Alright, this talent point we'll put into arrow damage. And I'm just going to hold on to the blueprint points for when I hit 10. So as soon as we hit tier 2, we'll have the ability to make a crafting bench, and then like stone furnace to smelt ores, water skin and auction bladder so that we can like carry stuff with us, and anvil to make like better stuff. The tech tree massively opens up at level 10. More than really any other level. Tier 3 and tier 4 are like, I mean, it's basically tier 3 is like biofuel, like pre-electricity technology, and then tier 4 is like electricity technology. And tier 2 is just like, hey, you're no longer a caveman, which is why I think it's the biggest jump. Yeah, I saw the ox rock. My oxide's fine for now. Man, I cannot find bacon. Oh, that's my first chamois, huh? Okay. Damn, chamois broke my knife. I'm just gonna throw out the regular meats now. I don't think I'm gonna need them or eat them. I'll keep the prime meats. The way things rot in the game is they rot like one off a stack. So the rot bar, as it goes down, it will only ruin one stringy meat. So the larger a stack is, the longer it takes to rot. Whereas if I split the stacks, that would be a bad idea, because then I'd be rotting twice as fast, essentially. And I'm just tossing some stuff on the ground, because I don't necessarily need to be hauling all the leather. You end up getting, because bone is such a needed resource for a lot of things, you end up getting like just buckets of leather and fur and stuff like that you don't end up needing. Okay, I traveled all this way so that something could try to kill me. Where is that something now? It is 3 p.m. in game. So I will have nightfall, not soon, but soon-ish. And I don't want to be too far from home. Plus, there's always the storm risk. Now, there's other ways to avoid storms. If you go into a cave, you avoid a storm. If you You can also, like, excavate a hole in a rock and, like, hide in the rock. That's a tried and true method of avoiding storm damage. But now that now that the mountains are creating a bit of a canyon, this is an indicator that it is a transitional zone between biomes. The way the Olympus map is laid out, that's more or less how it works. Means I should find some big baddies here more than other places. It'd be a good idea to have a lot of stamina if I do end up finding big baddies. There's a Tyrannus. Turn around. I want to shoot you in the head. Oh, yep, that was skillful. So eager to get me, you threw yourself off the cliff. What are you gonna do now, huh? Dumb ho- Oh, there's a boar. Haha, I'm gonna get my bacon. Came all this way for bacon. Definitely more things to kill around here for sure. Seven bacon strips. Nice. Now, in these transitional zones, there typically are bears, so I gotta keep my head on a swivel, because being jumped by a bear would be rough. And level 10! There we go! So now that I'm level 10, go to the tech tree, unlock crafting bench, unlock stone furnace so that we can turn ores into ingots, unlock the anvil bench so that we can turn the ingots into stuff. Let's unlock the longbow, iron pickaxe, iron knife, contact device, orbital exchange interface. So the contact device allows you to take missions, and the orbital exchange interface allows you to send resources back up to space for profit. Water skin, oxygen bladder, oxide dissolver, and way at the end here, actually mortar and pestle, and then way at the end here, oh no, that comes later on, that comes at 15. Okay, so the mortar and pestle allows me to process resources, and we'll do crushed bone will be the first one I unlock. Big things. Big things. Ooh, took a large deer down in a shot. I also have the talent points and solo point, and I'll spend those in a minute. So I want to get back home and start taking advantage of my tier 2 tech. So the current priority right now is to build the tier 2 technology. And that will allow me to start making metal tools. I won't be in the Bone Age, you know, instead of the Stone Age. Hello, baby. So if I wanted to tame this one, I could hit F to lead it, but no, I'm not doing that right now. Plus, I don't personally really care for mounts in the game, because I like my character to run fast, meaning I don't really care about mounts. The only reason I would ever get a mount is to haul heavy stuff for me. So maybe I will end up getting a mount for that purpose, but I'll leave it up to polling. With that said, combat pets are useful. You can tame boar, you can tame wolves, and you can tame hyena to fight for you. And there is value in that for sure. Oh, bees. Go away, bees. No, frickin' leave me alone, bees. Also, why do I still have my stone knife? That's a mistake. Beekeeping is another thing you can do for honey and honeycomb. Alright, let's go ahead and mark my home. And we're going to head back home so I can take advantage of my newfound technology access. Also, I want to cook up all these lovely foods, because the XP bonuses for those foods is great. So, talent points. Crafted bows have increased durability. And more arrow damage. So nothing's worse than being in a big old fight and having your bow break on you. So that point is kind of nice to have. What is my movement speed? Movement speed is 426. Well, you can't see that. 426. Oh, I also got a solar point. So the soul point I'll spend for precision logging, for more wood from felling, because I really want to get that more mining yield. Because you spend a lot of the time in the game mining things, and getting more yield, bang for your buck, is pretty sweet. And yeah, I'm just like murdering everything for XP. With the small chance of getting elite meat, prime meat. Don't do it. Told you not to do it. Haha. Got the accolade Ruthless. Achieve 50 critical hits. Anytime you kill an animal, you do get some bestiary access, which is J. So if I go to the bestiary here and go to like deer, I can see what they sound like, the unlocks for creature traits, player stats, loot tables, the lore behind them. And the more you kill certain things, the more information you'll unlock about that thing. Prime meat. Nice. And my backpack is officially full, so throwing out some leather, some rotted meat, some non-prime meat. There we go. Well, we're almost back home. Well, not almost, but that's mostly because I've just been murdering everything on my way home like a hobo. A murder hobo. But that's the way to level. Oh, a tea bush. If I wanted tea. I have coffee, I don't need tea. So you ask, can't I just have the animal follow me? I'm not taming animals right now. I'm not even entertaining the thought. So yes, I could, but I don't have a ranching station, and I don't want an animal. And if I wanted an animal, it wouldn't be a Tyrannus. The thing is, animals need to be fed pretty often and watered, and that gets annoying. So unless the animal's actually providing a bonus to you, I don't want to take an animal, I don't want to tame stuff and have it be labor, added labor. I'm not taking care of animals for the funsies. So unless it's like helping me out with something, I have no intention to add it to my entourage. I ain't got time for that. Ooh, already killed 50 creatures with my bow. Like a true pioneer. Arrive, slaughter, and leave. Exploit and exterminate. The 4 X's. Alright, it's getting pretty dark. Hi, bud. You don't run very fast now that I have all these movement speed bonuses, huh? Oh, antler shot. So now that I'm home, we can start crafting the stuff that we need. Putting the prime meat in. As you can see, the seed grinder is real slow. It's still grinding up that wheat I got. That's how long it takes. It's ridiculous. Manic, thank you for the resub. So the first thing we want to get is the crafting bench. The crafting bench is the core of tier 2. And, flash storm. So this flash storm is, has a non-zero chance to burn my house down, so I'm glad I'm home for it, I guess. Because nothing's worse than, like, returning home to have everything burned to the ground, where you weren't able to, like, salvage anything. So getting our crafting bench, and then hoping our, like, primitive lightning rods work. Because, you know, I did build them, but time will tell if they function as designed. So I'll put the crafting bench... I'll put it over here. Crafting benches need to be in a shelter to work. And the first thing I want to do is get an ox bladder and a oxite dissolver. And that's going to allow me to stay oxygenated much more easily. Right, I'll open the doors so you can see what's going on here. This is also a bigger storm, so it's damaging my walls. So like this wall, for instance, is 880 out of 1,000. It's taking storm damage. I have too many doors. I need to close them so that we're sheltered. But yeah, you'll definitely see some trees on fire out there for sure. No, make the bacon first. There we go. Yeah, there's a fiery tree. Also, the torch in burned out. Let me get that back. This is why I got the wooden hammer really early on, so that the house wouldn't fall apart. Bacon. Alright, so now that we have the oxide dissolver, let's get this set up. I'm going to set it up by the door. And the way this works is you stick oxide in it. In the bottom as a fuel, sulfur as a bottom as fuel, oxide as a resource, and allows you to fill your oxygen bladder so you don't have to keep re-upping your oxygen constantly, which is really nice. The other thing that we could do with the crafting bench is I can just I can use it as a temporary storage. So I'm going to do just that and stick all of the stuff that I don't need in my inventory in it as storage, because I haven't unlocked any storage items yet. If you're wondering, yes, you can build on the water. Buildings require support, but like pillars provide that support. So if you want to build like a stilt home, you could build a stilt home. Okay. I'm only patching like the most egregious damage so that the next bad storm doesn't like blow up the sections and then start damaging the stuff inside, because I don't want to have to rebuild everything from scratch. That would be annoying. Alright, the next thing I want to make is the stone furnace, and that's going to allow me to take stuff that I mine up and process it into ingots. But actually, let's get a coziness bonus XP and stuff. There we go. Make it daytime. So one thing that I mentioned that you may have noticed is like the storm didn't change. Time changes, but like the storm systems don't. So you can't like sleep through a storm to skip it. They're unskippable in that way. Okay, so we have about half the stone we need in order to make the furnace. That's a good way of putting it, Turtle Sandwich. The storm takes a nap too? Yeah, basically, the storm takes a nap when you take a nap. And then it continues when you wake up back up. And it's weird, but like I kind of agree with the system, so you can't just like ignore storm damage. Because if it didn't work that way, you could see a storm coming that would break your home and like sleep through it to keep your home from breaking, and that would be weird. So as odd as this system is, like, I entirely agree with it. Alright, another level up. So, talent point. Let's go with more arrow damage. And then tech tree. I want to get a textiles bench. Let's go with leather backpack. I'm not going to bother with ranching just yet, because I don't want to be doing that. I'm going to get epoxy as a technology. And then herbalism bench. Herbalism bench allows you to make, like, medical items. I have a lot of stuff to build here. Do you have a death wish? For real. These bunnies, man. Alright, so I got the stone I need for the furnace. Now I just need the wood. The alternative was to have the storm happen while you sleep. Yeah, the consequence of that, of course, is you would wake up in like a burned home. You'd wake up dead. And I think that's probably worse, like gameplay mechanic-wise, which is why they didn't include that either. Because that would super piss people off, I suspect. My first batch of wood is going to go to the fire here. So that I can keep cooking prime meats for experience. I'm actually going to get rid of my like regular cooked meat. Throw it on the ground and let it rot. Because I just want the good stuff. Now there is a drying rack if you want to dry your food instead. Because that will let keep a little bit longer. But it has like less of a bonus when you do that. So I just like to cook and keep hunting. Because the game's going to require you to do a lot of hunting anyway. So you might as well just like hunt like crazy. The other thing I'm going to need to do is to get some sulfur and oxite Probably before I build the... Well, I have enough wood for the furnace already. But sulfur and oxide so that I can fill my oxygen back up. Because now I'm getting oxygen a different method. But I need to fuel that method. Which I haven't yet. So there's some oxide. And then we'll be looking for sulfur, which is like a yellowy rock. It's a little less common than oxide, but not rare by any means. Can you depopulate an area? Sort of. You can depopulate an area of predators because there are techs that you can unlock later on, which are predator deterrents. Basically, it keeps hostile things from spawning around you. But animals respawn real fast. Ooh, titanium deep ore node. Awesome. Animals respawn real fast, which means, like, there's just... You can't reasonably hunt them all, because they'll just respawn on you quick enough that they'll repopulate. Alright, it looks pretty rocky over here. I'll probably find sulfur over this way. Hopefully. There's silica. So the sort of dark rocks that are speckled is silica, which is useful to make glass and other things. This is silica here. That's oxide. But I want sulfur, because I like breathing. Ah, there we are. Here's some sulfur. There is technology that you unlock much later on, which allows you to regenerate things like sulfur and oxide. Plus, there's deep mining, which allows you to have, like, as long as the deep drill is fueled, it allows you to have, like, an income of whatever you're drilling for. So the titanium node that I just spotted is a deep site for titanium, which is the last tier material in the game. So that's nice to have near home. There is a bonus to fully mining out a node. So I always try to fully mine out nodes when I can. So that I get that windfall of finishing the node. And now that we have a method to replenish my oxygen that is more efficient, we can go make iron tools. I think that's probably the most reasonable next thing to do, but you know what? I can have you guys decide. If you want me to instead build the other objects for tier 2, you can vote for improve the base. If you want me to improve my gear for like metal tools, you can vote for that. So the way this works is you stick sulfur in the bottom and oxygen in the top, oxide in the top, and you can fill containers like the oxygen bladder, which will store oxygen for me, allowing me to have oxygen on demand in my suit. So then I can move this oxygen bladder into my suit, and as you can see, it refilled my oxygen, and it can periodically refill the oxygen. Later on, once I have access to better suits, I'll also have water slots as well, and I can do the same with water. Here we are. Here is our furnace. I'll stick wood for now in the bottom, and we can start melting things down. I also got a textile bench to be able to make better clothing than my basic clothing. I'll put that one over here. And then I'm going to go here and grab the leather, fur, and fiber and store it in here. And you can actually visibly see textiles being stacked there. See? And then with this, I'm going to take some of my leather and make 25 ropes. So the textiles bench, eventually, once I get more talent points, will allow me to like make, when I level up as well, like leather armor, fur armor, brown bear armor, so on and so forth. It expands. And I could also make a backpack already. So the reason I did this was so I could have a backpack. So I can carry more stuff. So that's queued up. The other things that I have not yet got is the contact device, which allows me to take missions. And then the orbital exchange, which allows me to send resources back up to space. As well as the anvil, allowing me to like make stuff. So in order to make an anvil, I need a lot more iron. So that's probably next step, depending on how you guys vote. But before I do any of that, I would really like to have 3 good sources of food on me so that I can get as much experience as possible. So bacon, stringy meat, and gamey meat consumption. And let's turn the watermelon into seeds too, in case I want to like grow watermelon. And there's my backpack. So stick this backpack on me. And that increases my weight capacity by 5, increases my slots in my inventory by 6, and then decreases the weight of all ores by 10%. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Quite the carnivore diet? Yes. Yes, indeed. Alright. There we go. So I have bacon for 15% experience, gamey meat for 5, and stringy meat for 5. So I have a bunch of bonus XP. I'll let the rest cook up. And what I'm going to do is head to the nearest cave. So we found 2 caves so far. There was a big one here that we had found that's close by. So let's go over to the big cave. And my current goal is to make a set of iron tools. Cicerone Ikapare and Manic Dark. If I failed to mention it, thank you for the resubs. I suck at paying sufficient attention, apparently. So one of the advantages of the oxygen bladder that I have on me now is my oxygen is going to be automatically filled up from that bladder, so I don't really have to worry about oxygen as frequently as before. I still have to worry about hydration and like eventually I'll get like a thermos or a water bottle to be able to store water. Well, actually, I already have a water bladder. I could have filled the water bladder. I just didn't. I didn't make one. I probably should have in hindsight, but whatever. I'm not going to dehydrate to death. Quickly, anyway. Alright, there's the cave. Just making sure there's like... Oh, hang on. I don't want to come out of the cave having pneumonia and been poisoned by worms only to get, like, stomped to death by a Tyrannus. I'm gonna clock that as a no thanks. So we're in here, honestly exclusively for iron, at least initially. Because the anvil costs iron to make, a lot of it, and then all of the iron tools are obviously also iron, so all the other metals in here that aren't iron, I'm going to ignore, because I don't need them right now. Cave worms, the small ones at least, are not much of a threat. Also, cave water still as dangerous as pond water. So that is not a good source. The ramps I was referring to. So if I wanted to get that iron up there, I could try to scramble up there, but the ramps are a lot easier than trying to like Skyrim horse my way up the cliff. Or Witcher roach my way up the cliff. And as I mentioned before, exhausting the entire node sometimes is not possible. Like in this case, oh, there's a strike. Some of the iron might be embedded in the terrain, so I can't exhaust it. But like ideally, you're trying to get the whole thing. And then Y, as in Yankee, allows you to instantly remove structures that you had built as long as they're fully repaired. So as long as the ramp that I like temporarily put down hasn't been damaged by anything, I can just refund it instantly back into my inventory, which is super convenient. Coal, this stuff, really good fuel source for fires and furnaces, but like wood is so easy to cut down that like I'm not going to bother with coal while I'm in here because I'm going to focus on getting only iron. So when you're building, there is stability. Blue means it's like attached and fully stable. Yellow means it's like running out of stability, and then red means it's not stable enough. So if I put down a ramp and it's red, it's going to break immediately. So if I take a look here, the bottom one's blue. It's kind of hard to tell because it's in the water, but it's blue tinted, meaning it's fully stable. And then this one's yellow because it's not actually attached to anything. And then if I built like more of them that weren't attached, eventually it would run out of stability. Just like every other builder that has a stability mechanic. Same basic design. So it means like you can't build floating bases, not without exploits. But I don't tend to exploit anything, so. Level up to 12. Alright, I am going to step out of this cave before leveling up because the cave can give me pneumonia being in there. Thank you for tuning in to Icarus, which originally streamed live on Twitch as a marathon. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. But please keep in mind that this series was streamed as a marathon, so feedback cannot be incorporated. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits, and all the live viewers that turned out for the marathon. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, fellow prospectors.